Sister Wives. I'm convinced Kody Brown is still influencing Meri's life. Will Kody ever lay off the digs at Meri? I'm convinced that Sister Wives patriarch, Kody Brown, is still influencing his ex, Meri Brown's life, amid him not laying off the digs at her. Meri left Kody after 32 years of marriage. They married in 1990 and Meri officially broke ties with him in January 2023. Meri's exit came on the heels of the other OG wives, Janelle and Cristin Brown, leaving Kody. The trio had individually had enough of Kody's favoritism of his now only wife, Robyn Brown. Because of Kody's soulmate connection with Robyn, the other wives felt abandoned, insulted, and unappreciated. On Kody's end, he felt extremely bitter towards his original 3 wives for leaving him. Kody trash-talked all 3 of his exes, but I think he came the hardest for Meri, whom he said the most hurtful things about. "Blame yourself if I don't love you," was Kody's attitude towards his exes, and he has barely laid off the digs at Meri while she's been trying to separate herself from him completely. I think Kody has been unfair to Meri given how much he put her through, and I don't believe he is letting up regarding making her feel like she's still tied to him. Meri was the sister wife who stuck it out the longest. Meri didn't want to give up on her marriage after pouring so much of her life into it. However, she hit a breaking point when Kody said he never loved her. That hurt Meri's heart and was the catalyst that pushed her over the edge to officially cut ties. Kody did move Meri out of her Flagstaff, Arizona, place, and the pair's once comical and light-hearted side towards each other came out. But that was short-lived as Kody kept making snide remarks about Meri behind her back, much to her disappointment. There is also the matter of dividing up the Coyote Pass property, which signifies the Brown family's broken dreams. Meri still needs to get what's owed to her. The property has officially been sold as of April 2025, but it remains to be seen what cut Meri will get. As long as the property is not legally handled and divvied up, Meri still has ties to Kody. Aside from the property tying Meri to Kody when she doesn't want to be, there is the issue of Kody's comments about Meri getting back to her. And Meri has a reaction to them. If Kody would let Meri be and stop bringing her up in negative ways, she'd have a better chance of healing and totally moving on. It's been seasons since the cracks in Kody and Meri Brown's marriage turned into a full-blown canyon of distance, heartbreak, and passive-aggressive tension. And yet, somehow, even though Meri has finally stepped away from the spiritual marriage that defined her adult life, it still feels like Kody's shadow lingers over her every move. I'm convinced, absolutely convinced, that Kody Brown is still influencing Meri's life in subtle, emotionally charged ways. The question is, will Kody ever stop taking digs at Meri, or is he going to keep living rent-free in her psyche forever? Let's be honest, Kody has never been one to hold back his opinions, even when silence would have been kinder. His commentary about Meri over the years has ranged from dismissive to downright cruel. Whether he's muttering under his breath about her loyalty issues, scoffing at her errand ventures, or rolling his eyes when she tries to make meaningful contributions to family discussions, it's like Kody wants her to feel irrelevant. And even now, with Meri officially moving on, there's still this undercurrent of judgment every time her name comes up. Meri's journey post-split has been one of slow but steady self-reclamation. She's embraced solo travel, revamped her wardrobe, leaned into motivational speaking, and tried to build a life that isn't centered on being wife number 1. But the thing is, her tone still changes whenever Kody is mentioned. Her body language shifts. She pauses longer before answering questions related to him. It's like she's still running mental gymnastics to avoid triggering the old wounds he left behind. Even her social media, those long, cryptic captions and inspirational quotes, sometimes read like subtle messages to Kody or perhaps to the version of herself that stayed so long. She'll write things like, "Sometimes you have to walk away from the things you thought would last forever," or "I'm learning what freedom feels like." It's empowering, yes, but it also feels like she's still trying to prove something. To him, to herself, or maybe to the audience that watched her suffer in silence for so long. Meanwhile, Kody hasn't exactly taken the high road. He's made public statements implying that Meri was the one who wouldn't let go, the one clinging to a dead marriage. He's painted her as emotionally distant, cold, and not compatible. But what's ironic is that the more he tries to justify why the relationship failed, the more it seems like he hasn't moved on either. If he really were at peace, wouldn't he just stop talking about her? Instead, it's like he can't help but throw in one last jab every time her name comes up. Case in point, that scene in season 18 where Kody referred to his relationship with Meri as a mistake while simultaneously trying to portray himself as the victim of obligation. Ouch! The coldness in his delivery wasn't just a dismissal of the past, it was a dig designed to sting, to remind Meri that no matter how much she grows, he still sees her through the lens of disdain. So, will Kody ever lay off the digs? Honestly, I'm not sure he knows how. His pattern with the wives has always been about control, whether emotionally, spiritually, or socially. And Meri, once the most devoted, posed a unique threat when she started asserting independence. Kody didn't mind Meri when she was quiet and compliant, but the moment she began speaking up and claiming her worth, she became a problem. He has always struggled with women who no longer orbit his emotional needs. But Meri isn't just surviving, she's evolving. Each new episode, each selfie she posts, each retreat she hosts in Parowan, feels like a step away from Kody's influence. Still, his voice lingers. It's in the doubts she still seems to wrestle with. It's in the emotional hesitancy that creeps into her conversations. He may not be sitting next to her anymore, but Kody's presence still echoes in her decisions. And maybe that's the tragedy of long-term emotional entanglement. Even when the relationship ends, the patterns persist. Kody's critiques became Meri's inner dialogue for so long that it's going to take years to fully rewrite the script. But the good news is she's trying. She's showing up for herself, however messy the process may be. What she needs now isn't just distance from Kody, but distance from the version of herself that needed his approval. That's the real healing. And maybe one day she won't flinch when he's mentioned. Maybe one day she won't need to address him at all. Maybe one day the digs won't land because they'll no longer matter. Until then, Kody might keep trying to diminish her in subtle and not so subtle ways, but Meri's light is no longer dependent on his switch. The power he once had over her is fading. Slowly, yes, but it is fading. And one day soon, she'll wake up and realize his voice has finally gone quiet. Not because he stopped talking, but because she stopped listening.